We understand an upside-down world, but they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will, because our future is the future. So we're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day, and feed those left in the cold. We're going to do all this and more, because we have an appointment with destiny.
Welcome you back to another episode of San Diego Prep Insider. Look, I always have to legally give the intro per our sponsors because we need sponsors because our equipment is all falling apart like that.
Push it down towards the
there we go. Yeah, we nailed this. Look, hey, they're really, really good at basketball. I'm mediocre at podcasts. We'll make the next 20 minutes work. It's the El Camino Wildcats. Guys, thank you so much for being here. 12-4 as of us recording this tonight. It ranked in the top 10 depending upon whose rankings. I vote in some of them. I don't care about any of them. It's just a good nomenclature to use that you guys are a top 10 team while you are in here. Absolutely. Can we go though left to right and introduce ourselves for coaches? I just ask, kind of how many years have you been at the school for players? Name, grade, and position, please.
I'm Mike Franciscus. This is my first year coaching at El Camino. I've been coaching since I was 19, so it's 12 years now. Did a stint at Vista. It was fun. Now with these guys.
Yep, you skipped them. Right past them.
My name is Yuan Davis. I'm a junior, and I've been on varsity for 3 years.
That's a flex. I like that.
My name is Luke Pica. I've been on varsity for 3 years, and I'm a senior.
My name's Luke Sanford. I'm a senior, and I've been on varsity for 2 years.
And can I guess, based off of this alone, that you are one of the more fashion-forward members of the team?
Yes, sir.
All right, deal.
I'm Isaiah Pomer. I've been on varsity for 2 years. I'm a junior.
I'm Coach Derek Jones. This is my first year at El Camino. I went to El Camino, graduated in 2007. I coached for a year at Mission Vista. Then I coached for 4 years at Palomar College. And now this is my first year at El Camino High School.
And I am the assistant coach, Emmanuel Goodlit. I've been there for 1 year. It's my first year. And I also played at El Camino 2006, 2007. And I am a coach of life. That's it.
So, Coach, first year going okay for you? Is this according to plan so far?
So far, I mean, I just tell everybody, like, I can't emphasize how lucky and blessed I am to have the players I have. These guys are just, since day one, they've been locked in and eager to learn and easy to coach. So, it's just been a fun ride so far.
Well, so from the player perspective, guys, where are we at this year in terms of 0 to 100 being how much you think this team is capable of? Like, is this team at 80% of its potential? Is this team at 90% of its potential? I know that's kind of an open question to everybody, but from the players' side of things, how are things going this year?
Everything's going good so far. I don't think we're even close to our full potential yet. We still got some things to work on, especially on offense and stuff, but everything's going good so far.
Maybe at this point, just grab the microphone and give it a good. Just hold it from now.
I think we're getting too close to our potential. Right as league's starting, I think we'll be a good team by playoffs, and we'll show some people up and show them what we're about.
Yeah, going off of what they both said, I think we have a lot we can still work on, but right now we're doing what we need to do. But by the end of the season, we're going to be at our best.
So this season, we've got wins against and or close games against teams like San Ysidro, Cathedral, Saints. It's already been the who's who kind of in-city section or in-section opponents, plus a couple of big Mountain View and Acalanes type non-section games. It seems like you guys feel pretty tested at this point. Is it at least safe to feel like you guys kind of have, hey, we know where we stand against some of the other good teams, so we know at least if we're not 100% happy, what we are still needing to fix?
Yes, I feel like playing those games early against Cedro and Saints really let us know where we're at and what we needed to do to get better. So when we get to league, we will know what to do, and we've already been tested by the 2 top teams in the county that will be ready for anything.
Coach, how much of this schedule was already made when you got here?
It's crazy because it was actually only supposed to be Saints was supposed to be our first big game. I knew I didn't want to start the season with a easy schedule. I wanted to see where we were at. So Saints was going to be the one that that tested us. But then a couple months back, they were asking if we wanted to play Cathedral, and I'm like, okay, we'll play them in I think it was West Hills tournament. And then it was like a middleman I was going through, so he hit me back and was saying, oh, the game is covered. So I thought that game was covered and we weren't going to play them. So then down the line, I'm talking to the Saints coach, and he says, yeah, I think the Madison tournament we're in, they need a game. So I'm like, okay, I'll hop in the game over there. So the coach from Madison was just kind enough to give us a game. And then I look on Max Preps and it says San Ysidro, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then like the week before that happened, but before we started, the coach from West Hills was like, hey, coach, are you guys still on for that Cathedral game? And I'm like, wait, I thought that was covered. So he hits me back and he's saying, yeah, you guys were the one that covered it. So I'm like, oh man. So it just happened like that. But I'm just extremely happy that it happened like that. And my guys were able to have those games. Yeah. And they just rose to the occasion, and all the games were pretty close besides Saints. At their place was just really tough, and, just not being in that, mid-season form, still putting stuff in, still seeing what we have, and those guys are just seasoned, been playing together, obviously, CIF champs and state, great run in state, and then, this year just showing how good they are being in that Torrey Pines National Championship game.
For you guys as players, what has been the one maybe that you feel like either was your coming out party, was your statement win, is the signature moment that you guys came together this season? What has been sort of the moment where you guys looked around and figured out, hey, like, we got a little something this year, like we're no joke?
I'd say when we beat Cedro, because I feel like going into that game, we were heavily slept on, and not a lot of people thought we were going to win that game. And to come out and beat them the way we did, coming back in the fourth quarter down 19, just was a statement for us.
Yeah, I think the same thing. The first win against the projected #1 team in San Diego was a good start for us. And then we took a couple losses after that, and then we had to refocus and get our heads back together and focus on the rest of the season.
What's the story from that 19-point deficit? Like, what got you guys fired? We've seen the footage, but internally, what sticks as the memory from that game for you guys?
For me, it was just proving to the kids that we could play with that caliber of players. When we went down by 19, I remember coming to the huddle, and I was just telling Coach, like, we're good. Like, we're just hanging out. 17 points is not. In a spectator's point of view, it's a lot of points, but in a basketball point of view, it's not really a lot of points. You get 3 or 4 buckets, you're right back into the game. So I was telling my players, like, we're hanging out. We're good. We're in a good spot. As long as we persevere and we get through this quarter, I just need 8 hard minutes. 8 hard minutes, the hardest basketball you've ever played. And they went out and did it. We got steals. We weren't getting a lot of calls, so we weren't getting a lot of and ones, but we were getting to the bucket, getting the ball to the middle, and the rest was history after that. We rallied, and they didn't call timeout, and it was history after that.
Favorite basketball game memory that you guys have ever been involved in, personally, yourselves? Yeah?
Top five.
So top 5. Definitely.
What are you looking forward to from here on out, though, on the schedule? Because I could guess as a school who the rival is, but also as a program, sometimes that varies widely from school to school, program to program. So what in league now is the game that you guys would say, hey, we're out for blood on that one?
Every game.
Every game?
Every game.
Buckets of blood every single game?
Every game.
Yeah, I think the thing with El Camino, obviously we're from Oceanside and we have a hometown rivalry with Oceanside High School, but at the same time, our tradition is really just built on those Torrey Pines games, the Carlsbad games, those CIF, La Costa's high caliber players, and in my opinion, our league is the best in San Diego as far as players go, but more importantly, the coaches. I mean, Cassaw and Olive and Hoffmeister, Dante, and I don't really personally know the Carlsbad coach, but I'm definitely watching them, and the way they beat San Ysidro the other day, it's just like they're just
well,
really
and you've got two with
well.
them, so you're going to get to know them somehow,
Exactly.
one way or another.
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah.
get to know them here and at your place and his.
Absolutely.
So you guys are saying no natural, like, Oceanside is just the bigger natural rival. It's just you want a little bit of everybody, a whole lot of everybody.
Absolutely.
Where does that fire come from for you guys as a team? Is that something that has taken a couple years for you guys to forge through? Like, you had to, I mean, this kind of loaded, like, you had a signature loss last year or something that stuck with you. Was it something you guys did in the off season that kicked it into the next year? What separates you guys this year from other years?
It's really just been our mentality since even in summer with coach, giving all of us the mentality and the confidence that we can hoop, we can hang, we can beat anybody in our league, out of league, anyone we play against, we could beat them. And I feel like every game we could prove that.
We played San Ysidro in the preseason or the offseason.
Got smacked.
In summer. Yeah, when the first game we played against San Ysidro in the offseason, it was a learning lesson. It was a big learning lesson, and going into after the next game, going into after it, the boys came together and we prepped, because from that game on to our first game of the season, we basically had 4 to 6 weeks to prepare.
Of bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, and that too. Right. That too. So
and I know that it's kind of a shitty question for me as an interviewer to ask is, hey, how about this bad memory? You want to bring that up? But I know for some teams that is what genuinely, like, they look back on it and they like, hey, we all looked around at the end of that one and said, yeah,
fire. That's what we hang our hats on. You know, we beat teams. We know coming into it that they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder trying to want to come at and get to us. You know, so our thing is like, you know, we don't take anybody lightly. We're not going from the Powways to the St. Augustines. We treat it the same, and we gonna get after it.
In the last couple of years, maybe in the last 5 years, we've seen El Camino flirt with greatness. They had Jalen Flanagan for 4 solid years. We've seen that the athletes exist, but it feels like this year maybe the mentality is what's also there in addition to the athletes and all that. So what are you guys hoping? Maybe, you know, I know you're going to say, hey, we're circling a championship this year, but maybe beyond this year, just in terms of the legacy with this program, what is this season trying to build for the future at El Camino?
Yeah, it's been since like 2009 since we won a CIF. So, you know, we're just trying to leave a legacy and bring a CIF. Obviously, we've had good teams in the past and great players come from El Camino, but we want to win a championship this year and next year.
Wrong podcast, coach. Right. It's all love. Shout out to Vista, man. My boy Ant Bolton over there doing a great job. They got a good team.
Anyone else on legacy?
For me, it's bringing the culture back. I mean, from when I went there, when Coach went there, it was under Ray Johnson, the legend.
The GOAT.
But the mentality was a lot different. I think a lot of people, like when I was there in 2004, when I was a freshman, you know, we had a really stacked team. I think we were 15th in the country at one point, beat St. Anthony's in the Torrey Pines Classic. But it was just we hung our hats on defense. You know what I mean? It wasn't so much offense. It was more getting turnovers, and that's where we had to kind of come back and instill in these guys because, you know, for so long it was about X's and O's on offense, and you know, we had to really get back and tell them, like, you know, no, this is built on defense first. You know, we're going to guard 90 feet.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to turn the ball over. We're going to get layups on tons of shots. And that's basically what it is. You know, the culture, just bringing the culture back, trying to get another banner, trying to win league first.
Banner is plural. That's what they're going for.
Absolutely.
And future. You know, when these guys are gone, you know, hopefully these can be the guys that brought the tradition back to El Camino basketball. Yeah. You know, and
inspire the future, because there's tons of guys that it's crazy that how young the talent is now and how quickly, you know, like freshmen's coming in playing on varsity just because they've, you know, been playing tons of AAU and been, you know,
the turnaround can now be immediate. Exactly. It no longer requires kids to be baptized by varsity play against a team right now. You can get some game-ready pieces. So, yeah, the legacy is no longer, hey, guys, what do you hope in 3 years the seniors? It's just like, hey, like, yeah, right. You're in the midst of a championship chase this year, but how steadily can you talk about building for next year already?
Exactly, and so the years ahead, because that's how I feel it was with Ray. Like, by the time we got there, you know what I mean? Like Coach said, in 2004, those guys were, you know, it was about 7 or 8 D1 guys on that team. But, you know, it didn't happen Ray's first year. Yeah. You know what I mean? You put in the years, and like kids are coming to the game. And
if it happened your first year, Coach, that would probably be a CIF violation, and those guys would have sat out a couple of years, a la modern day football.
Exactly. Yes. So. So
congratulations, guys, on no recruiting violations. I suppose a round of applause
exactly
to close out the podcast as El Camino makes a clean and full denial of any wrongdoing of how the talent got here and just happened to move from all over the country. Oh, not you guys, is that? No, whoops. Hey, look, it seems like there's something brewing, though, and I'm stoked to see it. I know that the basketball community is stoked to see kind of a refresh in the top 10 this year. We're really glad that you guys are a part of that. We wish you the best of luck. We're including in the bio or the links and all of the swipes and all the different directions, all the games they got coming up next. They got LCC, San Marcos, Torrey, Carlsbad, Mission Hills is the first pass through league for them. Definitely one of the teams, like I said, in the top 10. Doesn't matter where you rank them, they're in that top 10, so they're definitely someone to go check out. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll see you around at a game.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.